You know, Bob, one thing that I've always noticed is we can tell when we're getting our message through if you have somebody out there that argues with a message. And just for general knowledge here, folks, we don't want the bumper sticker to be biodegradable. We want it to stay there for a long, long time.
Now, civil discourse.
Let's play nice, folks.
You know, guys, let's talk about that. You know, why has the climate changed? What changed? Anybody want to take a guess what changed? How many of you out there were told by your school teachers, by your Sunday school teachers, by your mothers, that the better man walks away? Why? We don't want confrontation. We don't want loud voices. The better man walks away. Well, guess what? We walked away. We walked away for almost 70 years. And when we turned around, they had stolen our future, they had stolen our money, they'd stolen our country, they'd stolen our jobs. What they need to know is we're not walking away anymore. All of our lives, our political leaders on the right have told us, oh, if we will just, wear Birkenstocks and talk nice and only carry flintlocks, why, the left will come to love us. Well, guess what? They didn't. Well, we're not wearing Birkenstocks and we're not carrying flintlocks. We're going to have our country back. What has happened in this country has happened because of the town hall meetings where young, sexy senior citizens stood up and told congressmen, you shut up, you're going to listen to us. It was that militancy that has brought this change to America. And make no mistake, the change that happened in this last election has shook the political establishment right down to its boots. Oh, they don't wear bootstraps.
No, they don't.
Down to their Birkenstocks. Yeah. All right? You have to keep that going. You know, a lot of people will ask you, well, why do you spend all your time doing this? Why? How much should I do? Let me ask you something. How tirelessly do you think your enemies are working to take away your freedom? How much money are they funded with? This is one thing we have to do, folks. How many of you are Second Amendment advocates? How many of you are about land use and not seeing the Otero Mesa closed? How many of you are about taxes and all the rest of it? Is that a diverse group of patriots? No, because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you the dirty secret. It's all one issue. And the issue is we have a federal government that has forgotten the constitutional limits that were placed on it by the founders, and we've had a populace who has enjoyed the prosperity of this country so long that they became too fat, dumb, and lazy to pay attention to what was being taken away from them. That time in America is over. Middle America is in the street. We are going to be loud. We are going to be heard. We are going to start a grassroots conflagration that no politician is going to be willing to stand in front of. It's already started. Look at the progress we have made right here in New Mexico. How many of you Republicans out there remember the truism that you cannot elect a conservative Republican governor in New Mexico? Well, that sure went away, didn't it? And all of the political realities that the long-time political hacks want to feed to you as their pathetic excuse as to why they cannot do what it is you have asked them to do have changed. And you've got to be there every session, every vote, every day to remind them of that, to remind them that you're going nowhere, that you are the people who work and pay and live and die in this country. It is your country. You are not taxpayers. Never again let a sleazy politician call you a taxpayer, because all that man is doing is identifying you as his source of income. You are the citizens of this country. You are the legitimate inheritors of liberty. It is yours, not theirs. Are we a democracy? No, we are a constitutional republic. What's the difference? Let me tell you. Democracy is two wolves and a sheep sitting down to vote what's for dinner. A constitutional republic says it don't matter how many wolves vote, you still can't eat the sheep. We are a nation of laws. And the most important of those laws are codified in that Constitution. That's why it is so important. That's why it is so important that each and every one of you know what's in that Constitution. Know what struggle took place that made those issues so important that they codify them in that document. You have done a marvelous job, but the fight goes on, and it's going to continue to go on. It is going to go to a time and a place where once again, free men will walk this land unafraid of the government, which continues to try to crush their spirit, to crush their finances, to crush their families, to crush their religions. It's not going to be an easy fight. It's going to be an expensive fight. One of the things we all are going to have to do is we're going to have to make the kind of sacrifices that puts money in these pots so that our side is able to finance things. The other thing you have to do, folks, is you have to get united. You cannot be one issue patriots unless that issue is the Constitution. If you're a big gun supporter, I'm proud of you. I am too. But go to the next rally that supports something else that will strengthen our Constitution or strengthen what it is we're doing. We have no time to rest. We have no time to rest. We must stay in this fight till the very last day, till the very last vote is cast, till the very last liberal has been written down as an odd anomaly in a history book somewhere.
You know, folks, one thing we learned this year, and we learned it right here in Santa Fe, first day of the session. We had a great group show up. That's where Bob and I met a lot of these folks. We did a live broadcast from up here. Froze our tails off, let me tell you. It wasn't a day like today. And when we got inside the building and set up in the, I believe it was Judiciary Committee, wasn't it, Bob, in the first room we went to? And we got there 7 o'clock in the morning to make sure we had front row seats. And we upset that committee so bad because when they showed up, there wasn't enough room in that room that they had the hearing set for. They were upset because they had to move the hearing to another room to accommodate all the people that showed up to fight against that bill. And the funny thing was, they passed it anyways. They tabled it right there. And you know what I was told when they said they were going to move it, and I brought up the fact that we had been there since 7 o'clock to get a front row seat? The lady that was chairing the committee stood there and told me, "You will maintain decorum in our house." And I kept my mouth shut, which, as you may have noticed for me and Bob, it's kind of hard. And I waited. And I did get a front row seat because somebody saved me one, not because they made sure that the people that were there first got the seats. And I waited my turn, and I stood there, and that's when we got in line. And after about a dozen other people speaking against the bill got in line, when I got in line, a sergeant at arms came up and said, "Sir, you're going to have to sit down. You can't stand in the aisle like that." So I went and sat down, and I raised my hand again patiently. And she finally looked at me and realized I wasn't going to go away. And I stood up, and the first thing I told her was, "Madam Speaker, this is our house. It is not your house. We put you there. You better believe it. We can take them out too." And that was the first thing I told her. And then we went on to talk about the voter registration bill and the way our vote's getting so messed up here in New Mexico. So folks, don't ever think that you can't go and make your voice heard, because there's nothing upsets a politician worse than seeing a bunch of dedicated patriots there to hold them accountable.
You know, the amazing thing that's come out of all of this is there was a time, the reason they were so befuddled is they never had that many American or conservatives to attend a hearing like that they didn't know what to do with them. They didn't know where to put them. And that's how bad things have been. We are changing that. We are changing that right now. I want to take an opportunity now to kind of bring up our next speaker, who I guess is kind of the hometown girl here. Miss Bridget Russell was a Republican candidate for the State House District 47, which is Santa Fe, in 2010, and worked as an education bill analyst for the House Republicans in the 2011 legislative session. She holds a PhD in ancient history from the University of California.